Hey everybody, Tim here, Rat Daddy Studios. So a little update, working on these hot rod spaceships. So this is a tribute build to my good friend Sonny Depalma. Sonny passed away not quite 12 years ago, and such a great guy, and we really miss him. But this was a tribute, and I cannot take credit for this because Chuck Darnell was the one who started this, and he's been working with Brian Sodergren to come up with this, and they worked on it and refined it, and he printed some pieces and they refined it some more, and Brian has really dialed this in, and it's not exact to one of the saucers. Sonny built a couple of flying saucer builds, and he sculpted the monsters that were in them out of Sculpey. And of course this has been probably 15-18 years ago, and used whatever he had at hand. He used some of those tall glass domes that you get at Michael's on some of the builds, and then I think the spaceship on the one we kind of are trying to copy is one of the Mars Attacks ships. So those toys are probably, I think they're at least 20 years old, if not older. But anyway, he modified it. He sculpted the Cadillac fins for the back of it. He did a second one, which I don't have very many pictures of, with a single like Cadillac fin that has a tall bubble on it with a monster on it. But just really cool stuff. And of course he airbrushed a lot of different ones, a lot of different saucers. So so anyway, so this is a tribute, and I have to say Brian did a great job replicating the little monster. I've been painting those today, all three of them, because I've got three of these saucers, and actually a fourth, a different one, little hot rod fez dudes, what we call that one. But he's we wanted some display legs for him. Brian got to work, I think, in a day. Him and Chuck, he was sending pictures to me, sending pictures to Chuck, and they refined it, and they're perfect. They look great. So it's a perfect little, well, I got it here. Grab it. That's what they look like, a set of legs, and the saucer just sits right down in there, and then you've got the little pointy legs with holes in them, which is very similar to what Sonny had on his build. And I'm not sure where he got the legs for his. Knowing him, he just scratch made them. But anyway, so he did that. That was an afterthought, because we started thinking, how are we going to display these things? And I was trying to come up with a display base, and I was having trouble. It couldn't, I ruined a bunch of acrylic trying to cut something to fit, and it just didn't look right. But amazing with the 3D printing. So, but anyway, let me show you what I'm doing. So I'm working on the first one, which this one's going to be one of mine, and it's black. So I shot this with, let me grab it, I put it in the cabinet. So this is the Tropical Glitz. This is some of the ready to spray. This is their Cosmic Black. So this is basically black with a ton of metal flake mixed in it. So it's settling again. I had it stirred up, but it's settling back in the bottom. But great stuff. I'll tell you, they're ready to spray paint. It's no bullshit. It's perfect. It goes on great. Now it's going to go on in kind of a flat finish. And of course you got your flake. And I will eventually, this will get top coated with House of Colors Cosmic Clear. But my next step is going to be using the House of Colors Intercoat Clear, because I'm going to mask this thing off and shoot some flames on the top of it. I've already sketched the flames out, and we had a couple cracked bubbles, so I'm using that as my mask. And that, again, that's Chuck's idea. That I was getting ready to tape this whole thing off, and he goes, well, you know what I'm doing? I'm going to take one of those broken bubbles that we've got, and I'm just going to stick that down there. So I ran some tape. I did run a little tape around inside there because I didn't want it to bleed, and just shoved the bubble down in there, and hopefully it doesn't look like I got any overspray in the interior, because I wanted to leave that the Orion Silver, which is a silver metal flake base, and I didn't want to spray all my other little doodads that Brian's got in there. He's got all kinds of, and this is all stuff that was in Sonny's ship. Very close representation, but it's not exactly the same, but that's cool. I mean, because I mean, to me, I don't think anybody can replicate Sonny's work. I mean, we've all agreed on that. If anybody has ever seen his stuff, there's no way. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to see it replicated. So with that being said, that's what I got done. I will go back inside. Still pretty stuffy out here. Not too bad. We're low 80s. Mosquitoes are bad right now. I sprayed my legs down because they were attacking me for some reason. But we've had a lot of rain, so generally we have a lot of rain. It's going to kick up the mosquitoes. Usually in September, October, those are our big mosquito months until it starts cooling off a little bit, because it's still pretty toasty here. So anyway, so that's what's going on. I'm going to go back inside to the bench, and I will show you the figures, which I've got a lot of the paint work done on, and I'm going to be adding some other little doodads to the figures, similar to what Sonny had on his little creatures that he sculpted out of Sculpey. So I'll take you inside and we'll do that. So let's go take a look at that. All right, so the weather's just too good. I couldn't stop painting. So I did this piece that I was telling you guys about the other day that I kind of forgot to paint when I was shooting fluorescent green, but I went on and I used different green on this guy. He was base coated with the Cratex, the Wicked Colors. This is our opaque white, and then I shot this with their let's see, Wicked Opaque Limelight Green, which is basically slime lime or traditional red fink green. So, and I've done some stuff in this color, but this is all taped off. But this is a rat fink driving a giant flying eyeball. It's got a helmet on, like a surfer helmet. It's got a piston in one hand and a wrench in another hand down here on the flying eye, and then he's got, it's supposed to be a shift knob in his hand, but I think I'm going to clip it off because it looks like an egg. So I think I'm going to put a round shift ball in his hand eventually. But anyway, I got him painted up, and it's pretty cool. Again, this was done by Brian Soderkin, and one of his 3D prints that he came up with. Got that, and went on and went after Eddie again. Went on and shot Eddie's hair in white, and did a little more on the shirt. I just realized tonight, of course, I need to do some touch up around his face again because I oversprayed a little bit because I forgot. I was going to brush paint it, and I thought, oh hell, I'll just get after it with the airbrush, which I did. But I missed his entire midsection. When I painted the yellow and the red the other day, I totally missed his entire midsection, so I got to paint that again anyway. So I'll go back and hit this with the little, it's an easy touch up over white because he's white base coated. But yeah, so Eddie's still got some work to go. But yeah, I figured I'd show you those pieces because I just gotta paint. When you gotta paint and you feel like painting, you gotta paint. So yeah. All right, now we'll go inside. All right, I'm back in the house, and I'm just going to show you what I got going on here on the bench. All kinds of crap everywhere. Oh, let's see, engine parts for the hydroplane or the Pro Comp boat. All right, so here's my little critters here. I've been working on these. They're not done yet, but I've been working on these today. This will go in the black ship, this little fella, in the purple and pink, and then I've got two identical, one for myself, and one of these will go to Pam Evans, who is Sonny's lifetime girlfriend. And these dudes just fit right down in here, like so. I think these are going to really pop when I get painted. Now, the other two saucers are going to be painted in Candy Hot Pink, House of Colors and stuff, so they're gonna really pop. A pink Cadillac, but I'm gonna put some little antennas with some little dealy bobbers on top of there. And of course, lots of little stuff to paint in the cockpit once we get that color on the rest of the body. So I'm pretty excited about that. This is I probably showed you guys this. This is pretty much what we've been working off of here. That's Sonny's original sculpture and little spaceship. I think this was a Mars attack ship that he modified up. He was good at chopping stuff up and making other stuff. So yeah, so that's what we're working with. And that's kind of what I'm kind of following. You can see this one's got his aliens. He's got just straight pins with these little fluorescent, sequins on it. I've got those in my stash. I think I've got the straight pins with, he might have made those out of Sculpey, those little blobs on the top of the straight pin. I don't know. You never knew with Sonny what he was going to do. But so anyway, yeah. So that's going on. got my creatures going. Starting to work on this this nightmare. So a lot of sanding, a lot of cleanup to do in here. So get to work on that. I did get the motor all figured out. Now I'm working on this little guy too. So he goes in the other saucer. So he's been airbrushed, and did some brush work on him today. Got the eyeball painted in his hat. This little fez dude. So he'll go in the other small saucer. So just got to get in there now and do some work on the eyes, some veins and some rotten teeth, and do a little wash on there with some yellow and stuff. And all these guys, I'm going to do the veins in their eyes. So that'll be next. So yeah, I feel like I got a lot done. I was really jonesing to paint these little alien dudes, and they're really, you know, once I got the initial airbrush work done, the hand painting stuff is just, it's all fun, you know, painting in the details and just watching them come to life. So once I get the rest of the little minor details added to them, then usually I'll gloss the eyes, gloss the teeth, gloss around the edges of the lips, maybe inside the mouth. I'll use just some Tamiya clear gloss and brush that. I got to put the little dots on his dice that he's holding in his hand. So get those done. I want to do a little more detail work on that little paintbrush that he's holding. I think I'm going to put a little metal band around where the handle on the paintbrush is, and maybe put a few streaks in a lighter color on the paintbrush. So yep, so that's what's going on. Okay, all right, that's my update for now. That's all I got, folks. So that's fun. Good afternoon, or catching up. So okay, all right, I will see you with the next update on one of these things. So if the weather holds out, well, probably tomorrow night I'll probably shoot the inner coat clear on that black saucer body and get that laid on there, and then let that gas out overnight again. And then sometime this week, oh, Lucy's barking, I'll start laying out these flame templates. I'll draw this out on frisket paper and then apply that to the top of the hull. That gets a nice tight even fit, and then I'll go back in and I have to tape off the rest of the saucer and airbrush in the flames, so on whatever colors I'm going to add. I haven't figured that out yet. So that's next. That's what's coming. So all right, guys, I'll see you again soon. Thanks for coming by. Keep building.